You know, in hindsight, it's actually kind of fitting that our team got crushed yesterday. After all, poor fielding and giving up tons of runs is the old Peanuts tradition. From the very beginning, baseball played an important role in Peanuts, especially baseball games that ended with really strange plays. This is almost certainly a reflection of the unorganized games of baseball that Charles Schulz played as a child when he grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota. Of course, Schulz grew up in the glory days of the old American Association, back when the Minneapolis Millers and St. Paul Saints had a famous rivalry. Back in 1937, when Schulz was just 15 years old, the Saints had a lousy team, finishing in 7th place. And we're going to have a little bit more on those St. Paul Saints tomorrow when we'll talk about the 1938 season. Now, there's a reason why I've chosen these couple of seasons. You know as well as I do that, you know, when you're like, 14, 15 years old, whatever baseball you're watching is like the greatest game in the world. I think it can help us understand a little bit more about Peanuts and Schulz. Meanwhile, we're going to try to understand a little bit more about the American Dreams today and what it's going to take for us to beat them. I'm not sure if we're really going to stand much of a chance or not, so we're going to do kind of the best that we can. I think that I've neglected once again to play a couple of games for other teams. Yeah, everybody else has 12 games. We have 13, so we need to make sure that they get their 13th game in somehow. So we'll just do a little bit of this. And we need, I think, one more. We'll probably just do this, huh? So there we go. I think that handles it. Let's see the standings really quick and see where everything lands. Yeah, 14. You do have the Japan Robins only have 12 games, so we're still missing probably a couple of games there. And other teams like have one game too many or something like that. Anyway, whatever. We'll figure that out later. I don't know. One day we'll make it work. I probably should have had a much more controlled and better designed approach to getting through all of this. But for the moment, I'm mostly concerned about the American Dreams and what we can do to make sure we're not totally embarrassed here, which we likely will be. So we'll see what happens. There we go. Somebody was telling me, oh, make sure you hit the ball on the sweet part of the bat, and that's what we're trying to do here. But for that pitch, for example, I would say that we got it on the sweet part, and it was still just a pop-up. So, you know, you can't necessarily trust what you see there. The difficulty here, of course, is trying to figure out if it's going to be a strike or a ball after Cy Young pitches it. That was a strike, though. And that's the right way to start it off. So we did something today that we couldn't do at all yesterday. So that makes me feel a little bit better. And here comes Pigpen now with 14 home runs. Got a little bit too excited. I think I kind of jerked us a little bit away from that pitch. There you go. There's one that's in a little bit more on the hand. So that one I can understand saying, yeah, you got to move back. But I'll tell you, saying it is one thing. Actually being able to do that is quite something else. But if you can get it hit off the right part of the bat, then that'll happen. Home run for sure, man. That makes it 2-0. So we have a pretty good start here. To see if we can keep it up. That's the big question. Linus now only 2 home runs so far this season. So we'll see what we can do with him. So I hope that all you guys are doing well. I'm assuming that you watched the video that I put out a little bit earlier today. If not, you can always watch that when you're done with this. I'm talking more about our good friend Baseball Pros by Camerica. Not Comerica, but Camerica. It's always going to be confusing, right? What exactly is the name of this company? How is it different from that other company? And so on and so forth. Let's see if she has a drop pitch. Nope. I think that she does. I just think you have to get the right place to use it. Can you imagine this guy hitting second, huh? Oh, just missed that too. So Babe Ruth with another home run. And Interesting they have him hitting second, and there's Joe DiMaggio, and it's a tie ball game. Didn't quite get inside enough on him. However, the thing is that we were kind of expecting this sort of thing to happen in this game. What I wasn't expecting is that we were going to lead off the first inning with 2 home runs. That's something that was a little bit unusual. Thigpen's just not quite tall enough to grab that one. I had a little bit of hope, but I don't think that there's any way to change the game so that he can actually get to that ball. And that'll bring up lefty. I don't know if we've ever figured out which lefty this is, but lefty it is. Unfortunately, I can't dive in situations like that where I really want to. That's what I was trying to do, so anyway. And yeah, they're starting to totally rip us apart. Oh man, we almost got him too at the play. That was just very, very little bit behind him. There he is. Like, where is my left fielder? I have no idea where he was, but he didn't show up until the very last second. There we go. Oh, that's only the second out. I'm sorry. So somebody was telling me that I should have said more about baseball pros not giving you, like, you know, the right player at the right time. That's exactly what happened on that play right there. That's a common NES problem. That's one of the reasons why I didn't talk about it much in that video that came out today. Oh, I just missed that one. It's a common problem in these games to have, you know, a fielder that's right next to where the ball's coming in who you cannot move for whatever random reason. It's not a problem that's unique to baseball pros. I don't think that there's an NES or Famicom baseball game that doesn't have that issue. Alright, well, we only gave up 7 runs. We're looking pretty bad. Somebody was asking me why it was that I would talk about, you know, improving Shermu's defense and then not actually do it. The reason why is because we need to improve the pitching. As you can see in this game, the pitching is actually more important for us to improve than his defense. So that's the problem. You have limited resources. You have to decide what it is you're going to do. And as I recall, I did use money to improve his defense at one point in time, and I got like 1 point that I could use to upgrade, right? So that happens sometimes as well. Just part of the game, unless you want to cheat. That has a chance. Yep. So that's going to be one of those games. Anyway, a little bit of behind the scenes here. I was up last night. I didn't stay up too late last night. It was a little bit nicer than it's been recently. I was up last night doing editing for that video that came out today, and watching part of the State of the Union, which is not something that I think was the best idea in the world, but that's sort of how I spend my time. I don't want to get necessarily too deep into politics. I worry a lot about, you know, people being, you know, sort of disconnected from each other because of the politics that happen in this country and the way that, or here in the United States, I should say. We have an international audience, of course. I get a little bit worried about, you know, there being this major, you know, partisan, you know, split in the United States and people feeling bad if you support one thing or another. I'll tell you, the one thing you got to support, though, is this team. 7-6 now. This is one of those games with the wind blowing out, isn't it? Anyway, the thing is, though, that personally I found the whole State of the Union to be really distasteful, and it wasn't just, you know, on the part of the Republicans. I found that it was distasteful really on both sides. I mean, for example, this idea that certain politicians had that you want to start like screaming at the president when he's talking, that was really bad. 7-6, okay, here we go. mean, it's distracting. I know it's intended to be distracting, that you want to, you know, speak truth to power or whatever, you know, whatever left-wing, you know, sentiment it is that you follow. But, you know, you do want to see that if, you know, you have an important political speech or whatever, that we at least treat it with some level of respect. I feel like there was not a whole lot of respect going on. Now, you can argue that, well, maybe this person doesn't really deserve that kind of respect. I do think that there was a lot of ugliness in the speech itself. You know, that I will agree with. But overall, it made for a very, very uncomfortable and frustrating viewing experience, and it made me wish that I hadn't spent any time watching it at all. We got to take Peppermint Patty out of this game, and it's only the second inning. This is going to be a problem. We have to go to the bullpen already, and I don't want to go to the bullpen this early. But I think that our future improvements really need to focus on her because, and everybody's got a frowny face, but they need to focus on her because she's been giving up a lot of runs lately. Oh, we did what we wanted to, and here we're actually controlling our pitcher. Imagine that. All right, 10-6. We can still come back. But yeah, that's sort of my point with this, is that it was really not a great thing to watch, even when I was doing something, you know, important and interesting at the same time. It made me feel really frustrated, and I kind of wanted to turn it off. 10-7 now. You know, having the president come out and, you know, totally lambast and slam the opposing party might make you feel good if you support him. By the way, I think it's the first run that Denny here has given up, so we're doing pretty well. Linus is not doing well, though. He's in a hole. Yeah. Wasn't going to be much I could do about that. Yeah, I worry a little bit that politics in the United States has turned into sort of like, you know, football, which is ironic because I would much rather watch football than watch this political squabbling, right? In fact, the nice thing about things that are focused on sports is that you can enjoy sports for what they are without necessarily having some sort of like partisan rooting interest, at least in theory. Although even there, I would argue that these days you're seeing less and less of that, and it's turning more and more into like you have to choose a side no matter what you do in this world and what you do in life. So anyway, that's those are some of the old man laments coming out here. Boy, I mean, we try to jam him and we still can't get him out. So yeah, this may end up being a quick loss, and if that's the case, if they end up beating us by 10 runs really quickly, then we'll play them again here today. If we're able to make a game out of this, though, then we'll wait till tomorrow to, you know, earn our lumps once again, and then we'll go through and see if we can beat a couple of other teams. The way this is going, though, I mean, we're not good enough pitching-wise to play with this team, I'll tell you that. There's no question about it. At least this time you're not going to hear me going off on Shermie's poor defense. And, you know, in his defense, he does have a defensive rating of 8. I mean, it's not awful. It's just that when we're playing, you know, the really good teams, it's not good enough. This, though, is going to be a pretty ugly game. I can tell you that. Yeah, you can't get this team out the way that you can get the other teams out by, you know, just sort of forcing them to swing at pitches that are way outside. So, not as easy as we'd like it to be. Well, we might as well have a pinch hitter come in for Spike because we're going to be using everybody anyway. There we go. I'm going to have to look up the stats for Denny because he's probably their best pitcher. Of course, then we get a base hit off of him, so maybe he's not really that good. Yeah, another pop-up. I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure the luck does play a factor when it comes to, you know, whether you're going to get a base hit or whether you're just going to pop the ball up. For some of our players, that's like the one thing that they're really lacking. And I'm pretty sure that also has something to do with whether the ball's hit directly at a fielder or not. The like generally accepted plan for this game is to increase your luck last. So we'll see if eventually increasing luck ends up making a difference to us or not. Yeah, we just can't get him to chase. I don't know how many hits we've given up, but we've given up too many, that's for sure. Almost got him. I forgot, I thought there were 2 men out, there's only 1. Well, we got lucky there, so it means it's only 13-7. We still kind of have a chance. Let's see if Pigpen can do something other than popping it up this time. Denny is slowing down, by the way. Maybe a little bit. That was 95. He was throwing 98. But I think the key against him is to let him throw his balls. There we go. So there is a little bit of a chance. Yep, got it. Get back. Yeah, there's not much I could do about that one. Well, that does it. We've been able to get runners on base, which is pretty good, but we can't drive them in. And unfortunately, that looks like it's going to be the way that things are for a little while. To beat this team, we're not only going to have better pitching, we're also going to have to improve these hitters. Because as you can see, they're not really connecting with much, so it's going to take us a while before we get to this point. I do think we'll get there eventually, but it probably will be a couple of weeks before you see us start beating this team. Again, you have to remember that when you lose, you get $0, and that's the big problem. And, you know, whether we're able to actually catch them in a pennant race or not is another question. I'm not sure that I actually ran out of the way of that. I have a feeling that it was the game running my fielder out of the way. One of the rough things about this game is that there's this sort of like pseudo-automatic fielding system, so the game will automatically push your fielder in a certain place. Sometimes what that means, though, is that your guy doesn't end up going where you want him to go, and that's kind of what happened right there. There we go. Oh, that's going to go through. There we go. All right. So we'll put in Sally, I think. That's gonna fall. Beautiful. Okay, now let's see what Lucy can do. Oh, that was one of those NES baseball things, right? 14-8 now. And we're getting them to use everybody up. Here comes Dizzy. It's only the 6th inning. That was probably the pitch to drive. I don't think we've seen Dizzy before. Maybe we did and I've just sort of forgotten what happened last time. That's gonna fall. Alright, so it's a 4-run game again. But of course, our other problem is that we're down to our last pitchers too, and if this goes 9 innings, Marcy's not going to be able to last that long. So you can see they're not pinch hitting for Dizzy here. There we go. That's the first 1-2-3 inning that we've had on defense, so hey, maybe it's a sign of something good to come. Oh, I think it's going foul. There we go. Clean base hit to right. Here we go again. Yeah, that was a little bit too far inside, I think. Yeah, and that's me being a little bit over anxious now. He's got me where he wants me. Yeah, more pop-ups. Boy, I tell you, we get more pop-ups in this game than anything I've ever seen. Every time I turn around, it's another pop-up. And we finish it out with another pop-up. Somebody's got to run these numbers and tell me what percentage of our outs are little pop-ups. I think it's number 3 for him. Alright, 15-10 now. It's still kind of within reach. There we go. So, see, he's not that bad at defense, right? Sometimes he has good luck. This is definitely something we want to see happen. I like this. Alright. Well, there's another pop-up. Fortunately for us, that one lands, but not what we wanted to see happen necessarily. Easy. All right, runners on the corners now, so we're still doing it, and they're going to have to put in Sandy, who doesn't give up any runs. This is going to be interesting. This is our first time facing him. Alright, all in a day's work. Let's see if Linus can do something here, huh? There we go. That'll score at least 2. So we'll call that a double. 15 to 12. Go, stay fair. Ah, that's foul. Oh man. I don't know, that looked outside to me. That's gonna do it. But we clawed back 2. It's gonna be Marcy's last inning if she gets out of it. I thought he had it, and he didn't. It was just hit right over his head. Almost got him. Well, that does it for Marcy. That's it. Alright, 18 to 12 now. These are going to be long games until we get this team improved. And of course, this is going to be a problem because we have to start him in tomorrow's game against this team. Well, we still might lose by the 10-run rule. We don't have any relief pitchers, so now you can probably see why for a while I was insisting on playing exhibition games, because you can't improve at this rate if we're going to keep playing you know, games like this against each team to keep a rotation going. I mean, we're going to end up losing a lot of games by 10 plus runs, and I mean, it's just really frustrating when you're like so close and you feel like you can come back, and in the end you can't. So I don't know. That's just sort of my own feeling about this, right? I think that the whole no, we don't want to like spoil it or anything. I think it's a bunch of garbage. I really do. I think that you're much better off, you know, playing some exhibition games and getting your money up so that you can actually compete. Because, you know, I mean, we're not going to win this game, and then tomorrow we got to play them again, and we're not going to win that game. So it's a pretty frustrating thing. Alright, well, at least we have something going on. So the reason why I keep swinging at those pitches that curve like way inside on me is because when they start, it looks like it's going to be a fastball down the middle. That's the problem. You have like maybe like half a second or less to react, and so, you know, you react to what you see at first, and then at the end you're like, oh no, wait, this isn't doing what I thought it was going to do. Alright, I played that wrong, but whatever. Yeah, that was the same thing right there, right? It starts off and it looks like it's going to be a strike at first, and by the time that you've decided to push A, it's way out of the strike zone. So it's going to take a while to get used to that. We did have 22 hits, which is okay, but we need to figure something out with the power so that fewer of those will be pop-ups. So Joe did have 3 home runs. Babe had 2. Hank had 2, I think. Hank had 1. And Shermie had the home run for us. Was there anyone else that we had? Yeah, that was it. At least from what was displayed here. I think there may have been more home runs that we didn't see. Anyway, so yeah, we'll go ahead and play some of these other offline games. Basically, all of these teams that don't have 3 games against each other team, right? So we have 1 more game to play there. And then there's 1 more game to play here, and I think that's it. I don't know. We'll figure this out tomorrow, I think. But that should get us all the way up to date. Yeah, we're 4 games behind, so you know, we're gonna have to continue to beat up on the World Powers and these other kind of lesser teams, and then you know, hope that we can do enough to beat the Ninja Black Sox again, who are 7-8. That kind of surprises me because they're a better team than that. And then you know, see what we can do to hopefully be able to start beating the American Dreams while we still have enough games left. Still is early, right? We're only 4 games back, but at some point in time, somebody's got to actually beat them. I did want to look really quickly at some of the ratings here. Yeah, so Denny has a speed of 15. Doesn't have great curve ratings though. Sandy's the one who has a speed of 15, stamina of 15, and good curve ratings. So to, you know, put that in perspective, Charlie's our best pitcher. Doesn't quite have that kind of stamina or speed. And everybody else is sort of, I mean, they're moving up a little bit. It's better than it was, but we've still got a ways to go before we get these guys up to the point where they're as good as that other team. So like I said, it's probably going to take a couple of weeks before we're really comparable. So there you have it. That's the end of Baseball Stars for one day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and we'll probably lose again tomorrow, and then we'll get back to winning again. So I'll talk with you again later. Bye-bye.